a great braiser from Le Creuset? Well, what if I told you we could bring you 2 vessels in one purchase today? I'm making a beautiful butternut squash mac and cheese that will go very nicely with this pork roast that we browned in the grill pan lid. Either use the lid as a lid for this vessel or use it as a separate vessel and use it as a grill pan. That's why I call it a 2-in-1. This is from Le Creuset, Multifunction 3.5-quart cast iron braiser with a grill pan lid. Now, since midnight last night, we've taken over 10,000 orders. 10,000 of you have said, yep, I need this in my world. They're also telling us that you are excited about colors. Now, we started the day with 9 colors, but one of our colors is sold out. An exclusive color, mauve pink, one that was only available on QVC, and now it's gone for a second time. The first piece we brought you was back in September, and it sold out. And then the second piece we brought to you today, and it has sold out. But we still have 8 other colors for you in this 3.5-quart braiser vessel. Now, here is the meringue. I have sea salt. Don't forget oyster. This is black licorice. Started our day with 1,400 of those. Final 300 remain in the black licorice. Then we have artichoke, then Marseille, then flame, and finally what I collect, the cerise, the cherry. Don't miss out on this. If you were to go to retail to try to find this same vessel, $400 is what you could expect to pay for it. We've got it today at only $264.98 with reduced ship. We also have Chef Nate Collier here, who is making all kinds of delicious seasonal favorites in this vessel that is perfect for all of what you're cooking.
It really is, David, because it gives you what a traditional braiser is going to give you, and that is that tender, fall-apart comfort food, the stick-to-your-ribs, short ribs, chicken thighs, ossobuco, things that you want to cook low and slow. That's what this shape was made for. Our braiser, this silhouette, is our second most popular silhouette besides our round Dutch oven. And we took that lid and took the knob off so it's flat so you can flip it and use it as a grill pan. But what is braising? Why is this so good, David? This shallow shape with sloped sides and a domed lid gives you the most tender, amazing, delicious results. We've got a chicken cacciatore in here that we braised down chicken thighs, tomatoes, peppers, onions, paprika, and don't worry, that's just fine because it's very strong.
And it's cast iron.
And David, look at how tender and shredded this chicken is. Grab a little plate right there because I want everyone to see. When everyone says, what is a braiser? What is a braiser gonna do for you? It's gonna do that. It's gonna do pot roast, short ribs, chicken thighs, and be so tender and have the flavors meld right together because of the heat retention of cast iron and the shape of this vessel. You are gonna get the best comfort food that you ever can. Number 1, from the heat retention of cast iron. Number 2, from the proprietary enamel to release that flavor. And number 3, that braiser shape, David, with the lid is giving you that tender, tender texture.
Chicken cacciatore has also been called hunter stew.
That's exactly right.
Because it's got all the great flavors in there that you might go out and hunt for or pull out of the garden. This is delightful, and it's like butter. It melts in your mouth.
And David, think about that. So typically, if the hunters were hunting for something, a game bird or something, might be a little bit tougher, right?
Right.
Short ribs, chuck roast, chicken thighs. This shape was made to cook those tougher, inexpensive cuts of meat down into those beautiful, delicious results. And that's exactly what the hunters did to make chicken cacciatore, using a shape just like this for those beautiful braised dishes.
A lot of you are looking at this and saying, I need this in my life. I need this vessel in my life because I've got something either that's too big or too small. I don't have the Goldilocks. I don't have one that is just right. This is ideal. You add a little bit of wine to that chicken cacciatore.
That's right.
You add a complexity to the flavor that is just so lovely. Let this cook low and slow. A braiser cooks very, very slowly. Put this in a 300-degree oven and just let it go for hours.
Go for hours. And David, I want to talk about the enamel here because this is the sand enamel on the base. You see, I deglazed everything with the wine. Nothing is sticking to that. Everything is now in your sauce. That's what's gonna make it so flavorful. That's what's gonna make it so easy to clean up. Everything has come off of here. We're gonna let this simmer down a little bit, and then I'll show you why the lid makes this so delicious when we put it together, using it as a lid. Because it's not just a grill pan, it's not just the base itself, it's the lid on top of this that does both.
Chef, they just delivered some fresh butter, so I'm gonna take one little knob of butter and pop it in
Go
here.
for it.
Oh, and let that melt down.
And we're gonna let this melt down a little bit, and we're gonna take a look at all these things, what it does.
So good.
But quickly, David, I want to bring attention to what I was just talking about. Here's the vessel. You can see on the screen, it's got the wide cooking surface, it's got the shallow slope sides, but let's talk about this multifunction lid. Flat on the top, so it works on your stovetop. If you want to take that off for me and flip it around, David.
And then on the underside is the grill pan portion.
The real versatility of what you get with this vessel is the black enamel on one side and the sand enamel on the other side. We do not make very many vessels that have both of our enamels in the same pack-up. It's really unheard of. The versatility for high heat browning, searing, and grilling, and easy release of the smooth sand enamel in one vessel. This is amazing versatility on top of that brazier shape, on top of the tender results, on top of the heat retention of cast iron. The combo of the two enamels is really what sets it apart.
And remember, this is enamel cast iron. This black coating is enamel cast iron. It is not a non-stick. Do we ever have to season this, Chef?
You don't have to season it. It comes already perfectly coated in enamel. Even this lip right here, it looks like it might not be coated. This is coated in our ground coat. You can soak this, you can put it in the dishwasher, you don't have to worry about it. And keep right here, this precision milled lip right here. It's the same on all of our cast iron lids. So this is not just a grill pan we decided to turn upside down. This is going to go on top of that Hunter's chicken. It's gonna lock in the flavor. It's gonna lock in the moisture. It's gonna heat from the top and make that low and slow that you talked about in the oven turn into the most tender, delicious braised dishes that you're ever gonna get. And that's just using the braiser functionality. We haven't even gotten to the grill pan yet.
I mean, the grill pan is extraordinary. The pan, the brazier itself, extraordinary. You wanna do a cobbler in here, you wanna do a mac and cheese, a green bean casserole, you wanna do all those kinds of things in here. Quick and easy, fast and delicious. Perfect for your holiday side dishes. I mean, that's holding quite a lot of food.
And take a look at this. On the bottom, we've got our magnetic wooden trivet. It comes with the vessel. So this cobbler, hot out of the oven, wide surface area, that trivet is staying with this. Walk with me over here, David, as we go back to the table where you showed to serve. This magnetic trivet comes with you. It's gonna go onto the table. This is not only gonna look beautiful because of the colors that you have here that you're serving out of, but it's gonna stay warm because the cast iron is gonna keep this cobbler warm. It's gonna keep your mac and cheese warm. And when you wanna pass it around, the trivet's gonna go with it. So you don't have to worry about it damaging your table because the magnetic trivet stays with it. Now look at how beautiful this is. I'm gonna swipe across here. Look at how that comes right across, right off of our sand enamel. Even these dark—
That's mixed berry cobbler.
Mixed bread, nothing's gonna stain this. This is our proprietary enamel. It's a glass powdered frit that is melted onto the cast iron at unbelievably hot temperatures. Nothing's gonna damage it, nothing's gonna stain it. Easy release, even of cooked down fruit that really turns into those, I can smell cinnamon and delicious spices in here. Why not have a bowl of this? 3.5 quarts of it, David, you could feed, 8 to 10 people worth of dessert or a side dish out of this vessel.
I will just taste this to make sure it's safe.
Yeah. It smells like it's safe, but let's make sure.
It's safe.
It's safe?
Now, Chef, I heard you say something, and I pride myself on prepping these things really well, but I did not read this. Do you get the trivet with this?
You do not get it with it. It is an extra add-on item.
beg your pardon.
So sorry.
Okay.
I wanted to show the versatility of that. There is another item number with that trivet. It's so beautiful.
I thought it was a separate person, but I wanted to be clear.
It is, but it's so beautiful for this vessel. You can see it right there on the cerise piece that we dropped down earlier. It's gonna save your table. Here.
Want to come over and help?
Yeah. I think I'll lift this right up. And you can see it, magnet on the bottom.
There's the trivet, and it's magnetized, but it is a separate purchase. Here's some information about it. If you'd like to pick it up, it's an 8-inch magnetic wooden trivet, and it's item number K93051. I just wanted to be clear that that does not come with.
Thank you, David.
Is that number on the screen not right? Oh, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry. Yes, the number of the trivet is, I'm standing right in front of the camera. K65858. There you go. I'm sorry, I was reading the wrong number. But it is available. Thank you, Chef, for that clarification. We are very, very busy. Now, it was back in June that I made a trip with you and a few others.
Oh, and it was so much
the
fun,
trip
David.
of a lifetime. I visited the Creuset factory in France. We had to stay in the next village over because called Saint Quentin, Because the village where the factory is located is so small.
It is so small, and really, there's only a few things there. There's obviously fields of wheat, and there's vineyards nearby as well, too. It's very close to the Belgian border, but multi-generations of families have worked in this factory, from polishing to enameling to molding. 15 different pairs of craftsmen's hands touch every single piece in there. You can see this going through and getting a base coat. Now it's getting the sand enamel coat. You're seeing multiple coats of colorful enamel going on. David, we saw those blue vessels go into the oven and come out a different color because...
Yeah, because once they were struck with heat, they darkened.
It's absolutely right. This is chemistry. This is not just paint colors that get sprayed on a vessel. It's not
and there's the palette. Because for years and years, we had this famous video of Chef Nate Collier hugging the palette. And since I was there, I pushed him out of the way and I jumped in.
And you almost can't resist it when you're there.
Oh
it's
my!
So
we
much
were
fun
in
to walk around
the factory part, or the shipping part of the factory, where they actually ship the boxes out. That's why they were all wrapped up and ready to be shipped out all over the world.
All over the world, everywhere.
I mean, we'd walk around and we would see retailers' names written on pallets, and I was like, oh, so that's going there. I wanted to put a little note inside David was here, but they wouldn't let me do it.
And guess what, David? There was not any other product in that whole warehouse that was multifunction like this except what was coming for QVC, because we don't offer the black enamel and the smooth sand enamel interior on the same vessel. The versatility of that is unmatched.
Now, as Chef turns over these French pork chops, you're going to see these grill marks. Now, the grill marks are lovely, yes, but they're also flavor. That is the Maillard reaction, yes?
You got it right, David. So caramelizing proteins and sugars in there. And I want to call attention to everybody here when we're looking at this. These are not burned, charred marks. These are deep, golden brown, flavorful grill marks. And that's because the heat retention of the cast iron.
That's some delicious right there.
It's so delicious. The fat gets all crispy on the edges of the pork chops. You can smell it cooking. You don't want gray pork chops. You don't want tough steamed pork chops. You want that flavor developed on the outside. The heat retention of the cast iron is what's going to deliver it to you. And David, the black enamel is built for this type of cooking.
Here's a chefy question for you.
Let's hear it.
Do we let all of our meat come to room temperature before we put it into a hot pan?
You know, that's sort of up to the chef in testing. I found that there's different ways to do it. For a large roast, yes, absolutely, I'll do that. For something like this...
So it doesn't seize up?
Yeah, for something like this, for these pork chops, the amount of difference you're going to get for letting it sit out is really not going to be that much, and that way you'll get...
like a thicker chuck roast, yes.
Thicker chuck roast, a large pot roast, absolutely, you can let it come to temperature, and then you don't have to worry about it taking so long to heat up. But this grill pan will be hot enough, you're going to instantly sear, you're going to instantly grill mark, and you're going to cook through no matter what temperature they come out.
And do you know that this grill pan is on medium heat?
Yeah.
It's not on screaming hot, high heat. Because if you put it on screaming hot, high heat, you'll get screaming hot, high heat.
You will.
And you'll likely burn what's inside. You don't have to cook on super high heat to make this effective.
And David, it's because the heat retention is so strong with cast iron, it's hard to let go of that heat once it gets hot. You also don't need to cook it on high because most of the heat goes into the cast iron. With thinner vessels, you're heating your whole kitchen up. This is going to hold on to all that heat, so you really don't have to worry about it at the end of the day. And I want to show the versatility of this because what we saw earlier, we're using the lid, we're cooking low and slow to braise. You don't need to do that every time. We're just going to bring these pork chops over to finish cooking on top of these potatoes.
But you'll finish those off in the oven, yeah?
Pears. You can finish these off right on the stovetop, David.
Oh, on the stovetop,
yes,
yeah.
This will cook just fine. I'm going to grab some of that butter, too, to put in here. We're going to come back to that to see how these look and plate it up in just a moment. But I just want everyone to know you can use the grill pan as a lid for one lidded vessel, or you can use them separate, just like this, to add some flavor and finish cooking in the base.
Shall I turn this?
Let's do that. I'm going to just pop that right off and bring it down below, and then we will come back to it.
Put this on a glass stovetop, ceramic stovetop,
induction
electric stovetop, induction stovetop,
absolutely,
gas, propane, whatever you've got. This is going to work on all of it. And remember, you can either use the grill pan as a lid for the vessel, or you can use it as a separate or a separate pan, rather, I should say.
You got it.
And that grill pan lid on the inside will just help with grill marks. You don't necessarily have to use them. You could bake anything inside there, and it'd be fine.
Cornbread is amazing in that. The same way you would use a cast iron skillet, that grill pan works the same release, the same delicious cornbread you'll get out of that.
Crisping up some escarole?
We have some chard in here, David.
Oh, chard.
We're just getting some beautiful color on that, a little bit of crispy. You see the flavor, or the color on the bottom, just a little bit of brown. I'll come with some wine. You could use stock on this to wilt the greens down. This is on an induction burner.
It'll also fight the acidity of the greens too, right?
Perfect, absolutely right. And then David, this is one of the recipes that comes with this vessel. It's a